have you said you can ask angels for help? It is a hadith of the Prophet. And I'm telling you, you call it, if you want to say it's weak, if you want to say it's not sound, well, there are many such narrations. And if it's weak, ahlan wa sahlan. We act upon weak hadith as long as we're not saying haram or obligatory. What is the rule on weak hadith? You can act by a weak hadith as long as it's not, you're not saying an obligation or a prohibition. The hadith says, if you are lost in your desert, say, Ya ibadallah a'inuni. Oh, slaves of Allah, help me. You're lost in the desert. You're all alone. The Prophet ﷺ said in this hadith, oh, slaves of Allah, help me. Say this. Because, the hadith continues, Allah has angels everywhere doing different jobs. So, no, it's not me who said it. I'm transmitting to you a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Who acted upon this hadith? Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. When he was lost, him and his group, they were lost on the way to Hajj. So what did Imam Ahmad say? He said, we act upon that hadith. He said, Ya ibadallah dulluni ala tariq. Oh, slaves of Allah. Angels, living slaves of Allah around us. We can't see them. Ya ibadallah dulluni ala tariq. Show me the way. And they showed him the way. Who else did this? Imam al-Nawawi, based on another hadith in which if your horse runs away, say, Ya ibadallah ihbisu. Oh, slaves of Allah, stop my animal from running away. So Imam al-Nawawi saw his teachers doing that one time. He says that he saw his teachers' animals was running away and said, Ya ibadallah ihbisu. So one day his animal himself was running away. Sometimes the rope wasn't whatever tied to the wall or whatever. So he said it. Ya ibadallah ihbisu. Why we do this thing? Because the Prophet ﷺ told us to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's weak. It's a weak hadith, so you don't have to do it. No one ever said it's obligatory to do it. Let me go and tell you right now, where is the narration of Ya ibadallah ihbisu? I don't know why it's bothering people so much. I also said in another video that some of the fuqaha, they made qiyas upon the martyrs. Martyrs are living, not dead. And I don't make that qiyas, but I'm telling you they made that qiyas. At-Tabarani narrates, قال حدثنا الحسين ibn Ishaq at-Tustari. By the way, you want antidepressant? You want happiness and upliftment? Every mention of angels, all talking about angels. حدثنا عبد الرحمن بن سهل حدثني أبي عن عبد الله بن عيسى عن زيد بن علي عن عتبة بن غزوان عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أضل أحدكم شيئا. If one of you loses something, أو أراد أحدكم عونة, or one of you needs help, وهو بأرض ليس بها أنيس, and he's in a place where there are no people to help you, so you feel all alone. Okay, فليقل, so he should say, يا عباد الله أغيثوني. This is the istighatha no two people can disagree on. Istighatha bil awliya wal anbiya, I'm not going to debate that. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing this one, this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فإن لله عبادا لا نراهم. So for Allah has slaves that we don't see. Okay. In another narration, these slaves are referred to as being angels. This one doesn't. It just says slaves of Allah that we don't see. So, ya ibad, sometimes these are called ibadul ghaib, the slaves of Allah that we don't see. Okay. قال الطبراني, Tabarani says, وقد جرب ذلك. This was tested. This is found in Al-Mu'jam Al-Kabir للطبراني. Even this one, you know which publisher he's using? مكتبة ابن تيمية. Okay. قال الهيثمي في الزوائد والفوائد في كتاب الأذكار رواه الطبراني ورجاله وثقوا على ضعف في بعضهم. The men in this chain are reliable, but some of them have weakness. Okay, so not a lie, not a fabrication, not la asla la. It has an origin. Weak is acceptable to act upon as long as we're not saying obligatory or forbidden. Yeah, questioner there, what was his name? Jabarti or whatever his name is. You hearing this? Pass it on to your friends, because there's some people put that clip out from the past time that we talked about this, and then they clipped it up next to a Somali sheikh or Sudani sheikh. This is all a bunch of shirk. I'm reading to you a hadith. You can like it, don't like it. هذا hadith. وله شاهد من حديث ابن عباس. He says now, Bazzar narrates from Ibn Abbas in his Musnad that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, here's another hadith completely. So they strengthen each other now. إن لله ملائكة في الأرض سوى الحفظة. Allah has angels in the earth besides those who write your good deeds. يكتبون ما سقط من ورق الشجر. Unbelievable. They even write down what fell from the trees. What leaves fell from the trees. Imagine the diqqa, the detail of what is being documented that's happening on the earth. When you see a good company, everything's documented. When the janitor walked in, how many mops he uses, how many tissues he uses, right? Everything's documented. So likewise here, يكتبون ما سقط من ورق الشجر. They write down what fell from the tree. This tree on this date, this fell. This amount of leaves fell, etc. فإذا أصاب أحدكم عرجة بأرض ليس بأرض فلات. If one of you suffers of getting lost in an empty land, فلينادي, he should call out, أعينوا عباد الله, help me, O slaves of Allah. ولا نعرفه إلا من هذا الوجه, and we only know this isnad of Musnad al-Bazzar has only one chain. This chain. ورواه البيهقي. Now we go to a third book. First we went to Tabarani, then we went to Bazzar. Now we go to al-Bayhaqi. في شعب الإمام Bayhaqi, by the way, is a mujtahid. Bayhaqi is the highest level that you can find, except he had adab with the Shafi'i and loved him so much, so he stayed a muqallid of a Shafi'i. We don't need another madhab, I'll stay with a Shafi'i. But he could have, if he wanted to, go into martabat al-ijtihad. So if you are a Shafi'i, then you definitely know how much Bayhaqi is used. Now, Bayhaqi is also one of the greatest hadith scholars, and he's one of the last ones. So he came late. He says, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلْ مَلَائِكَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ سِوَى الْحَفَظَةِ. Allah has angels on the earth aside from those who write your deeds. يَكْتُبُونَ مَا يَسْقُطُ مِنْ وَرْقِ الشَّجَرِ. They write down what falls even from the trees. He's saying this is amongst what they do. So if now you get lost, أصاب أحدكم عرجا في الأرض لا يقدر فيها على الأعوان فليصح أو فليقل عباد الله أغيثوني. And you get lost in a land and you do not have any other people in that land, then say, slaves of Allah, help me. أعينوني رحمكم الله. Help me, may Allah have mercy on you. In another, وفي لفظ آخر, in another wording, احتاج إلى عون بفلات من الأرض فليقل أعينونا عباد الله رحمكم الله فإنه يعان إن شاء الله, and you will be helped. Help me, O slaves of Allah, may Allah have mercy upon you, you will be helped. Who narrates that? Ibn Abi Shayba. Okay, so now we have 4 books we talk about. Yani, so this is not, and here he has another shahid, also from At-Tabarani. Okay. Ibn Hajar narrates. Nawawi mentions this in Al-Adhkar. Ibn Sunni narrates this from Ibn Mas'ud. إِذَا انْفَلَتَتْ دَابَّةُ أَحَدِكُمْ, if your animal goes away, بِأَرْضٍ فَلَاتٍ, in an empty land, call out, يَا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ احْبِسُوا عَلَيَّ, O servants of Allah, stop this animal. يَا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ احْبِسُوا عَلَيَّ فإن لله في الأرض حاضرا سيحبسه عليكم. Allah has creations in the earth that will stop the animal for you. Ibn Illan says in Sharh al-Adhkar of Nawawi, قال الحافظ Ibn Hajar, Ibn Hajar says, هذا حديث حسن الإسناد. The isnad is sound, is Hasan. أخرجه البزار. ولا نعلم يروى عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا من هذا الوجه. And he says what we already said, that it had this one narration has only that one isnad. No problem. As-Sakhawi says, هذا حديث حسن. والهيثمي says, رجاله ثقات. Haythami says its narrators are sound. So what's the problem exactly? You know what? I like nothing but facts. We're not going to do qiyas. No qiyas. As it is. That's it. Stop right there. I like the airtight fact. If you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. Narrate the hadith as it is. Call it a day.